Well, hello again everybody. It's a horrible wet day here today. I should actually be out in Llandudno enjoying a few beers, but it's hardly sitting outside a pub at a table having a drink and a naughty cigarette weather, so I'm kicking that idea into touch. An idea popped into my head for a video because I don't just sort of think, right, I need to make a video, what can I come up with? There's a few things going to be covered in this one, but this is inspired by, mainly to begin with, on my Performance Classics Facebook page, I recently posted a picture of the timing side of one of the Norton prototype engines with the timing cover off, and someone actually got quite shirty about it because I didn't make any comments on it. I just put the picture there and just thought I'll just see what interest this generates, and I was already covering the subject anyway, but basically it was just showing the Norton 650 unit twin engine with the timing cover off so you could see what was inside, and this guy actually suggested that it might be AI, artificial intelligence. It might be a mock-up, a fake picture. I just want to point out that anything I do, either on my videos on YouTube or anything I show in my Facebook page, is real. I can assure you that, and 99.9% of it is related to stuff that I'm working on or have had a hand in some way or another. So I just wanted to clear that up. Definitely no AI involved here. I live in a rural location, which I have done most of my life, and to me AI stands for artificial insemination. Pretty much the same thing really, isn't it, I suppose. Anyway, to get on to the other subjects, the Norton prototype at the moment is still here. It's probably all done, but I've been thinking and I just want to sort of share some thoughts. So we'll go round and have a look. Here it is, still on the bike lift, still behaving itself, no horrible messes underneath it or anything. Now let's go and have a look at that timing side that might be created by artificial intelligence, shall we? Well, here I am, and this is me putting my hand on it. I can assure everybody it is real, it's not a fake. I think most people will realise that. The other thing I was thinking about though, is there's a lot of discussion and speculation about this and the other machine that had pretty much, well, an identical engine in it that was in a sort of Norton N15 CS rolling chassis, which is essentially a matchless frame, if you like. And of course, these engines weren't really intended by the factory, as far as I know, to be fitted in either of these type rolling chassis. There was also an oil in the frame being experimented with called the Pluto, which, as far as I'm aware, according to what the owner tells me, the same guy owns this machine as the matchless framed one, these engines and the Pluto frame were not intended to ever be put together, and this engine is one that was this very engine housed in a Norton Model 7 rolling chassis, was tested at Myra and apparently recorded 49 brake horsepower and 120 miles an hour. But getting back to frames, now obviously this is a slimline Norton featherbed frame that this engine is in, and like I've already said, the red bike, which can be found in some of my previous videos, they are both sort of engines put into frames that were never really intended to have them, but they fit quite well and work reasonably well. But imagine, just imagine, and I've already commented that I don't think I'd even be able to get the rocker box off this engine without possibly having to remove it, never mind the cylinder head, remove the engine from the frame. But it's a slimline frame. Just imagine though, just imagine, obviously this slimline frame, rolling chassis, has been left totally standard, and the engine has been placed in it with specially made engine plates to get it in there. Just imagine this though, when we think of Tritons, obviously the best looking ones and the most popular ones have Triumph pre-unit engines in, and they can and do look a bit odd with unit engines in, except this one here. This has been a bit of a stalled project, but I did a little bit on it yesterday actually, so it's not totally forgotten and we're hoping to get back to it. But this unit Triumph engine is housed in a shortened wide line Norton featherbed frame. And just imagine, we took about 4 inches out of this frame. My brother did the cutting and shutting and welding. Where the frame tubes were cut, top and bottom, in the cradle, tubular inserts were forced inside the frame tubes. They're not just butted together and welded up. It's a proper strong job. But it looks a hell of a lot better for being shortened with the unit engine in it, and we've proved that this works with our Royal Enfield 500 Racer. Lots of footage of which can be found on my YouTube channel for anyone who wants to have a look. Just type in RE 500 Racer or Royal Enfield 500 Racer and you'll see all sorts of footage of that one, from us working on it, dynoing it and even racing it. And it rides and handles very well indeed, in spite of some initial doubts we had when we shortened the cradle originally to about the same sort of length as this, by taking more than 3 inches and nearly 4 inches out of the overall length. Now just imagine the wide line frame rather than the slim line. I think I'd probably feel more confident about being able to get the rocker box and cylinder head off out the way, because there'd be more room for a start off. But also I think a shortened featherbed frame wide line would have probably suited this engine well had the factory pursued the engine. And just imagine, because there's quite a lot of space there in front of the engine, quite long engine plates behind it, although obviously the carburettor is about as far back as you'd want, but there would have probably been scope for it to have sat nicely in a shortened to some degree featherbed frame. And I think this here gives us a good example of what might have been. Imagine that experimental or prototype Norton Unit 650 twin engine sat in that. Wouldn't it have been a neat package? And whether anything like that was ever considered at the factory or not, I don't know, but it was just a thought that occurred to me. We'll go and have another little look at the Triton from the other side, and there's a bit of a squeeze. We're probably going to have to use, we might even end up borrowing a forklift to get this one down when the time comes. But it made very good progress. I'll just shove this door open a bit. And then for one reason or another, I got busy, my brother got busy, my father had other things to do. But I think we'll be able to spend a little bit of time on it in the near future. And obviously anything I do, I'll cover in video. But just imagine that shortened frame loop. Like I say, there's almost 4 inches gone from that. What a compact package it makes. And we know it's going to ride well because of our experiences with the Royal Enfield Racer, of course. But like I say, just imagine something like that housing this engine. Talk about what could have been. But I'll leave it out there, and none of this, anything you see here, none of it is AI, I promise you. It's all real, and no tricks there. That frame has definitely been shortened in real life, and I think it looks the part. And like I say, just imagine what they could have done with what they had to hand in the factory had they decided to go ahead with these engines. I think they could have made a very neat package out of that engine and an adapted and shortened wide line featherbed frame. Just something to think about on a wet, horrible day. Thanks for watching.